Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes. I do hope that you are enjoying these segments. If you are, please do hit like, and if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Today I'm answering a few more questions from viewers like you. This from Fiona Sharp, who said, you have done such a variety of things. It's brilliant hearing about them. So other than acting, singing roles, it would be great to hear a bit more about any bucket list adventures you still have to tick off. It's funny, I spent some time thinking about that, and there's so many things I've had a chance to do. There were points where I wanted to do more traveling. I've had an opportunity to do a fair bit of that and find that less and less am I willing to get on airplanes and take really long flights. So I don't know. Sometimes just simple things in life are enjoyable to me. Right now I'm really enjoying the time I'm getting to spend working with my horse and exploring new avenues of things with that, with, I guess getting up the nerve and the skill and the confidence to tackle a cross-country course in competition is sort of on my bucket list still. We'll see how that one goes. So many of my things have been also work-related. I still would love to have an opportunity to do a show in New York, a Broadway show at some point. So who knows, maybe that'll happen someday. The things that, as I think about what I most enjoy doing, I have always loved having the opportunity to help fellow performers. I've loved when I've been directing and had an opportunity to cast actors, or I'm putting together a show and I can invite talented people I know to come be a part of it. So I love those chances to give work to my fellow performers, just as I love that opportunity when people reach out to me and offer me a chance to be a part of what they're creating. So getting to do more of that, I think, is something that I still look forward to. Next question is from Karina Rowland, who says, has there been a time when you had to choose between two parts? Yes, the one that stands out for me was when I was first cast in The Homecoming. I had also just been offered the lead in an independent film, and they conflicted. So both gave me the first opportunity to shoot on location. So that was exciting in both cases, that I knew that I would be going someplace, because I had at that point never been out of LA, where I grew up, never been out of California. So both cases were going to have at least some of it shooting on location. And I don't remember a lot about the other role, but I remember it really appealed to me. And if it were just strictly about the roles, I might have personally, at the ripe old age and wisdom of a 13-year-old, I might have taken the other role. But my agent advised me and my parents on my behalf to take The Homecoming, even though all we knew at that point was it was going to be a Christmas special. But she said it's for CBS. And so she said it was far more reliable that it would happen and it would be seen. Whereas the independent film, I didn't know anything about independent films at that time. And as I have come to learn more and more, an independent film may never get finished. They could lose funding. And even if it gets finished, it may never actually get distributed. And if it does, it might be on a very limited basis and have a very limited audience. So she felt that the better career choice was to do The Homecoming. And clearly it ended up being a good choice, because of course it turned into the series, which we didn't even know at that point. So had I done the independent film, who knows? Maybe, I don't know that I ever saw it or heard about it. So maybe it came out, I wasn't really looking. I might have had an alternate career, or might have been the end of my career from a standpoint of I might have continued to do a little role here, a little role there, and not having regular work, I might have moved on to another field entirely. So I'm very grateful for the advice at that time. Your next question was, Has there been a time when you had to play two parts because someone was sick or couldn't make it on time? I haven't had to play two parts, but I have had an experience, which is in a way every actor's nightmare. I had to go on stage closing night of a play that I had directed. And I was there for the closing night because the creative team was in to see the one show close, and then we were in rehearsals to open the next show. And the night before closing, I got a phone call saying that one of the actresses was in the hospital with pneumonia. And so although we had understudies for the show, the understudy was away because it was like, oh, there's one more show, it's closing night, this is a time that I can take a few days away. So there was no understudy. So I was around. I was a viable option because I was familiar with the show. I wrote the show or co-wrote the show. I directed the show. I knew the music because I'd been in the music rehearsals. So it was kind of, if I didn't do it, somebody would have to literally go on with the script in hand and do it. So I said I would. So I brushed up on the dialogue and the staging. I knew I could sing the lead parts, but I didn't have time to learn the harmonies. And the singer dancer I was replacing was a really good singer and really good with harmonies and a really good dancer. So I skipped the harmonies, and in terms of the dance moves, I was just like, this is not really going to happen. I'll do my best to be there and participate, but I couldn't do all the staging. There just wasn't time to learn it. But often when things like that happened, if somebody had to step in, they would have to cut songs because the person who was understudying wasn't prepared to go in and do the singing. So when I came into the rehearsal in the afternoon before the show, the first thing they said is, well, what songs are we cutting? I said, oh, we don't have to cut any songs because I do know the songs. Because they hadn't been put in the keys for me, and I hadn't, anyway, there was no way I was going to be as good as the actress I was replacing because she'd been doing the show and it was built for her. And it was also nerve-wracking because the whole creative team was there for closing night. They always showed up for closing night. The producers were there, so I thought, oh, this is like the toughest circumstances, the most pressure of having to go on. So I got through it. I don't think I was brilliant by any means, but at least the show happened and the audience got to see the full show. So yeah, a little nerve-wracking. Then you asked, when you are in a show away from home, has your family been able to travel with you? Yes, at times. I sort of stopped traveling a lot when the last time I traveled with my son, he was there when he was a baby and I was directing shows. And while he was easy to contain because he couldn't really move around, and because we worked with a lot of young people, it was great. People would play with him and help watch him. But then I was doing a show in Edmonton as an actress, and during the time I was there, it was about a 12-week run, and it was over Christmas, and so he was there, and his father was there. We were, my former husband, and who had directed the show, and so we were there the whole time of the run, pretty much. And that was where my son learned to crawl. So then we were in big trouble because he could get all over the place. And if I was staying in the hotel, which was like a 2-story room, and that their actors, their stars who were brought in would stay in one of these like 2-level loft suites at the hotel. And so he started learning to go up and down the stairs there. So it was a little daunting. And then he just was too active. And so I had to stop traveling to put the shows up. And so I chose not to go out of town for quite some time because of that. I just wanted to be there, and it was hard to travel with him. When he got a little bit older, I did take him to Texas with me when I was doing shows. And, in some cases, I took a my niece came with me to watch him, or I'd have to take him to rehearsals. He hated it, so we stopped doing that. In that time in Edmonton, I did have a nanny come in because his dad had to go direct another show. So I brought a friend in who was a nanny for him. And actually, she ended up getting hired in the next show, really talented actress. And so I introduced her to the artistic director, and she auditioned and got the role. So I was happy to help her. So then she was in rehearsals and we had to figure out other stuff in terms of babysitting. So I've done things like that. So I took him to Texas with me on a number of shows. But yeah, it's always a challenge when you have children, and trying not to wholly disrupt his life. But in the summers, he liked going out with me because he wanted to hang with me, which was nice. J.M. Sask asked, was there anything you did not like while on set, like waiting? Yes, waiting. Hanging around, waiting. Weather also, sometimes it was too hot, sometimes it was too cold. You were in whatever wardrobe you were in. And being in makeup, heavy makeup all day. So I've always felt limited in what I could do because I couldn't mess up my hair or makeup, and I had wardrobe on. And it wasn't so bad on our show because usually we were dressed pretty casually. Particularly in the early years, but later on when I had to have on dresses or skirts or things like that, it was tougher, or wearing stockings or something. So those things I didn't like. And early on, I wasn't crazy about having to go to school, and work, balancing the two, and just I liked being able to just hang out and not have to hurry back to school and get the schooling in. And I mean, I was good at splitting my attention that way, but it didn't mean it was fun. So I made a point of accelerating my education and graduating a half a semester early so that I didn't have to continue with school. And that's what I have for this segment of Behind the Scenes. Thank you for continuing to put your questions in the comments below. I will be back with more of your questions, and with who knows what creative content we'll come up with. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.